Good morning, everybody. My name is Jake Weiss. I'm the youth director here at St. Andrews. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. I hope you're doing well. Last week, we talked about Paul's concern for unity within the church in his letters that we have in the New Testament. And we said that for Paul, the reconciliation of previously divided people groups is a core part of the salvation accomplished by Jesus on the cross. And in Paul's context, these divided people groups, namely, are Jews and non-Jews, or Gentiles. And I also mentioned that for Paul, this unity within the church can't involve any one group being forced to assimilate or to take on the customs of another group. And I want to zero in on this point today by looking at a passage from Paul's letter to the Romans. Now, like many of Paul's letters, Romans was written to try to foster unity between Jewish and non-Jewish followers of Jesus in the city of Rome. And we see this intention really clearly, particularly in the final chapters of the letter, which is where we're going to be today. So we're going to read Romans 14, 1 through 6. Paul says, "Accept the one whose faith is weak without quarreling over disputable matters. One person's faith allows them to eat anything, but another whose faith is weak eats only vegetables. The one who eats anything must not treat with contempt the one who does not, and the one who does not eat everything must not judge the one who does, for God has accepted them. Who are you to judge someone else's servants? To their own master servants stand or fall, and they will stand, for the Lord is able to make them stand. One person considers one day more sacred than another, and another considers every day alike. Each of them should be fully convinced in their own mind. Whoever regards one day as special does so to the Lord. Whoever eats meat does so to the Lord, for they give thanks to God. And whoever abstains does so to the Lord and gives thanks to God." So that's Romans 14, 1 through 6. Now, there's a lot that should be said here about Paul's language of people who are weak in faith in those first couple verses there, but unfortunately, we just don't really have time to get into that fully today. But in short, Paul is talking primarily here to non-Jewish followers of Jesus about cultural differences between Jews and non-Jews. When he says disputable matters there in verse 1, really he's talking about differences in religious and cultural customs between these two groups of people. And it seems that the Gentile Christians in Rome have been judging Jewish Christians who have continued practicing their Jewish cultural customs as a way to serve Jesus. And Paul flat out tells these Gentiles here that they are way out of line in this way of thinking. He says it's not their place to judge the customs of another culture and to cause divisions within the church community because of these differences. He reminds them that both groups are living lives of service to God in their own way, and they need to learn to accept and celebrate each other with their differences. Now, I don't think we need to think too long here to see how this is still an issue we have today, right? Both in the church and in every area of our lives. We tend to group up with people who dress like us, talk like us, believe the same things that we do, come from the same kind of cultural background as us. And if somebody new wants to come into our space or to join our group, there's often this unspoken expectation that they need to start acting just like us in order to really belong. As humans, we seem to have a really hard time accepting each other's differences. But according to Scripture, part of what it means to be saved by Jesus is that we have an opportunity to join this new community, a multicultural community of followers of Jesus, where our differences are seen and accepted and celebrated as unique expressions of service to Jesus. And we learn that there is no one culture or set of customs that is superior in God's eyes. There's no right way to do this. And we practice this way of life, this inclusion and celebration of diversity. We practice that within the local church community, and then we carry it out into every other area of our lives, our workplace, our family life, our school, everywhere we go. this is a core aspect of what it means to follow Jesus, is learning to honor and celebrate the unique identity of each individual and group. Now, there's an important nuance to this point that Paul goes on to talk about in the second half of Romans 14 here, and that's what we're going to cover next week. So I would encourage you to tune in for that. Thank you for tuning in today. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord.